Hey Marvel's Avengers fam, let's take a look at the weekly update or the war table released this week by Square Enix. In it they describe some, I guess some major things coming to the game and things that are popping up now for this weekend. I guess the main concern that a lot of players are having at the moment, however, relates to loot. Square Enix seems to have taken a underhanded, I guess, attempt at nerfing the loot that's gotten in game. Some of the missions that are now in game seem to give at best rare or epic gear instead of the legendary status gear that they were given before. Me personally, I haven't noticed any difference in terms of the gear drops that I was getting playing some of the Hive Mind missions, or like the challenges and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's true. I know there was a response from one of the developers on the Reddit forums. You should drop in there, who literally took a look at it and said, hey, I'll check in on this and get back to you guys. So hopefully that's not, we don't have an Anthem situation happening. But let's look at the weekly updates in the war table and let's talk about priority missions. So we do have priority missions that have pretty challenging, I guess they're not really challenging modifiers, but they do have modifiers, but they are giving weekly completion rewards. You can only do them once and you'll get unique gear inside there that you won't get anywhere else supposedly. I did one of these priority missions and I didn't really think it was gear that I didn't get anywhere else. Although I did dispel the myth that my breastplate of the Allfather was just a unique or exotic item, because when I did the priority mission I did get a drop for a band brace of the Allfather, and now it didn't have any great stats like the breastplate of the Allfather, but it was definitely tiered up in terms of the gear I got. So maybe those gear items are pretty much like a step down from exotics, and then you have the exotics below that. But the priority missions do have some modifiers inside them, where they either blizzard, capacitor, or famine inside of them. I don't really find the famine one too bothering, because I didn't really notice my enemies getting regen packs drop from when I defeated them so much as when I did takedowns on them. So as long as I'm allowed to do takedowns, I don't really care about the modifier. The next one was Blizzard and Capacitor. The Blizzard one, I really kind of hate that one, and the shock damage, especially from the flying guys, where it seems almost like you can't dodge it, that was pretty annoying. But from those you also get in Polychoron, which is needed in order to level up, so your artifacts and stuff like that. So take a look at those missions. They definitely seem worth it to me to run. Remember, you can only do it one time. That's it, one time to get those rewards. So I wish they would do something to make those repeatable and replayable instead of just having it one-time reward. Rocket's Red Glare, which is the Captain America mission, is also available. That's the high power level mission that's available. The modifiers are famine, pressure, clash, and capacitor. None of these seem to really have any impact in terms of that, but this one also is going to reward you epic level gear, which means that you're almost guaranteed to get a legendary gear item from those. It's kind of best to wait. I would take the same approach as you do with Destiny. Try to get your other missions done that would generate you a higher score, especially if you're trying to track still to 150, and then jump into these missions that are giving you epic gear or legendary gear as a reward, so that way you're almost guaranteed to get a better reward. Then we also have priority harm challenges. I would highly suggest you jump in these. The first completion rewards for these are basically comic books, and if you haven't taken a look at the comic book collection and heard my thoughts on that one, look at some of my previous videos. I really like the comic book collection aspect of the game, and I really like receiving comic books. I would like for them to pop up when I receive them to show me what comic book it was, instead of just saying comic book resource. That'd be interesting. But these stats that you get from those characters benefit your overall characters instead of just one specific character, so they're pretty good. You have the low level power challenge, and that's just helix damage from players is increased, and Maelstrom or heroics charge at a significantly increased rate. Kind of makes it a little bit fun to play in that regard. And then you have the high power level challenge, and you have famine, clash, and helix. So gamma damage from players is increased, so that's really good. Typically they need to really consider gear, and especially if this is the route that they're planning to go down with these type of missions, where they're going to be adding modifiers, is that we need slot layouts, meaning that if you're going to require me to have blizzard gear, or gear to prevent blizzard, or gear to prevent gamma, or gear to prevent pim, or things like that, then I need the ability to have multiple gear layouts instead of just having the one and having to carry that stuff inside my inventory to switch over. It's the same problem that you currently have in Destiny, where it's like, yeah, you want me to play as these things, and now I'm carrying this stuff inside my inventory that I'm running around with me, and your system already sucks because it's not sending loot that drops to me unless I pick it up back to the inventory lockbox. So it's something to take down, something to figure out on there. But most of these modifiers are easy to mitigate without having to specifically worry about gearing up anything for them. Then one of the things that did happen was there was a marketplace update. I hate to say it, but other than Iron Man's Chroma Lux suit, I didn't really think anything in there was worth time. I think we're going to run into a big issue with the cosmetics in this game, because it seems like they're all over the place in terms of how things are being chosen for legendary, how things are being chosen for epic and rare status. It seems really weird, and I think like they're coming up with their own designs, and I like that, you know, they have the OG designs and stuff like that. But I want to start seeing some of the designs from the comic books, some of the things that, you know, players can harken back on, and that kind of brings them that nostalgia feeling. So like for instance, Thor, he hasn't had a costume released yet, and to be perfectly honest with you, I don't care for any of his comics, and I'm still running around in his t-shirt, jeans, and Tim's look. And that could be the New York in me, but whatever, it is what it is. So if you're interested in purchasing any of those cosmetics, take a look in the marketplace store. On that note, there was also some cosmetics that were released by accident into certain people's game files. You might not have noticed it, but there was like a Thor outfit that was released that shouldn't have been released. There was a Santa Hulk that was also released. So interesting thing there. We also had the patch version 1.25 notes that came out, and the rigorous testing clause that was coming out for 1.30. 1.30 is looking to be their big patch, where they're planning on to fix a lot of things, and I think this is going to be a groundbreaking patch for us. What I mean by groundbreaking, I'm not siding with them necessarily, and I'm not siding against the players. What I'm just saying by that is that I think that it's going to be one of those it's going to be one of those moments in the game to kind of determine for players how successful or how terrible this game is going to be. I think it's going to be one of those things, generally speaking, that players are going to look at and have to determine for themselves at this point. And to be able to say, this is not going in the direction that I want. I would have to say overall their responses and the developer responses to the community has been really good and really worth it. So I would think that, you know what, this is going to be a step in the right direction. They've released almost 4 patches at this point since the game's launch, and the game's only been out for 2 weeks. That's showing, you know, that they have the intention of making this game better. I hope that they start listening to some of the feedback of the players and addressing things like Captain America, Black Widow, and not being able to break into certain chest walls because they aren't considered superhuman. I don't know how not be considered superhuman Captain America is superhuman. He has superhuman strength, so I don't know why they say that kind of thing, but I don't even know why that would stop Black Widow from breaking down a glass in some way, shape, or form possible. Whether it is that she's hacking a terminal, because there's places we can't get into if we don't have Black Widow, which doesn't make sense when you consider the aspect of the game that the matchmaking system is probably its weakest point. So a lot of people are playing this content in a solo mode. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's really weird. So I hope that they take a look at those kind of things. Like, some people came up with some really great ideas on the Reddit forum about the way that they could kind of play things. One of the things that I know players are seemingly getting really pissed off is the play speed. Play speed is definitely something that needs to be taken a look at for certain characters like Captain America and Black Widow. Like, I know I play with my friends quite a bit as Thor, and Thor definitely seems to move around on a map so much quicker than other players, like really quickly. I can tell that my friends probably get annoyed by the fact that I'm like, you know, I'm off to the races and they're not. Along with that, we know that we've got Kate Bishop on the horizon, and we've got Kate Bishop, and then we got Hawkeye after that in November. They also, They also mentioned streamer kits. I'm interested in understanding this because they basically are planning streaming. If you're planning on streaming the Marvels, they dropped a new set of hero specific streamer kits, which can be used to showcase. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff going on in this game, a lot of stuff. I really like their superior seminars that they also have as well. But here goes something that I want to talk about at the end of this video right here, and it's something that I've been noticing going around on the streaming community and the YouTube community and within the forums, and that specifically relates to game content. The game's only been out 2 weeks. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to be on the horizon. I knew it was coming at some point because it seems to be the situation with MMOs these days, where players will generally jump into the game and they will race to the finish. I mean, whether it's through exploits, which usually it is, whether it's through exploits, whether through it's overplaying, whatever it is, they will race to the finish and get to these max caps and play these missions and then utterly complain about having nothing to do. I literally saw over the course of 2-3 weeks, maybe 10 plus videos from different creators, different players, generally trying to tell people the fastest way to get to level 50, the fastest way to get gear 150, and I literally had to question, what was your motive? Think about that for a second. Seriously, what was your motive? What is your motive in racing to 150? What is your motive in racing to the power cap of the level cap of 50? So now you're playing missions over and over, hoping for exotics to drop, hoping for legendaries to drop, or whatever it is that you're doing, and now you have no content to play. Why did you do it? And now you're in the forums creating dissent because you're complaining about repeating missions, and missions start to get stale because some of it's the beginning of a live service game that's going to be years on down the road. And if you've played any kind of game, whether it's been like Marvel Future Fight, Marvel Heroes, things kind of look that way in the beginning, where there's not that much content to play because you're trying to build the foundation for what is to come. We know, for instance, that we've got Black Panther and a Wakanda update that's coming down the road, but those things have to be set up with inside the universe. So yes, some of the environments look stale, some of the environments aren't exactly what you want. You're kind of replaying AIM missions, and I think there's a lot of different looks to the AIM soldiers, but they are reskins, and that's it. But why did you race to the end now to complain 2 weeks later? So now we've got probably at least another 2-3 weeks before we even get to Kate Bishop's release, and then you're just playing her. And what are you going to do? The same tactic that you just got finished doing, where you're going to race to level her up, race to gear her up, and then you're going to be burnt out for the next month? Stop doing that, guys. You're only hurting yourselves. Stop looking for videos for you to enjoy the game. The game is I will agree with people in this regard. We have been waiting forever for an Avengers game like this. While I loved Marvel Heroes Omega, one of the things that always bugged me about it is I can never really see my hero. I was always playing in this ARPG isometric view that, I could never really get in on the hero. I could see the skill effects, I could see the sprites, I could see those things, but I never really got in on the characters. I never really the 3D like sprite effect that's going on. It's like somebody literally just took Marvel Heroes and just brought the camera in and just made us feel the heroes even more. Take the time to enjoy the damn game. Play the game. Enjoy it with friends. Don't burn yourself out on a game. There's other games you can play. Jump on Marvel Future Fight. I'm probably gonna start doing videos on Marvel Future Fight because I've been playing that game for 3 years and I've been meaning to do it. But I stopped streaming for a while and now I'm getting back into it. So take the time to do that, guys. Take the time to play the game. Enjoy the stuff that they are releasing to you. Enjoy being part of a community. Stop trying to race and exploit and cheat your way to the top. At the top of what? It's a PvE game. Who the fuck are you competing with? Alright guys, I've been the Dark Side and I hope you've enjoyed this review of the War Table. Until next time, peace.
I'm making preparations to pull my people back. Feels like we've done what we set out to do. Thank you, Avengers. Commander.
You're welcome. And likewise, Doctor.
Nice work, people. We made a difference here today.
Indeed.
Wait. My monitoring team detected a huge data burst.
So, they couldn't send the research anywhere. Jarvis made sure of that.
The data was transmitted to a local server that came online once we attacked the Arc reactor. It appears to be a weaponized mech.
Monica's plan B.
We need to take it down. Hard.
Agreed.